Professor Dave and Chegg here. We just learned about types of solids and their structures, and one of these was metallic solids. But there is a bit more to discuss in terms of the distribution of metal atoms within a metallic solid. So let's take a look at some additional details.
Metals are characterized by their high thermal and electrical conductivity, malleability, and ductility. This is due to the non-directional covalent bonding found in metallic crystals and the delocalized valence electrons distributed around the entire lattice. The atoms themselves can be packed together in different ways. The most efficient packing is called closest packing. This is where the atoms are as close together as possible, so they do not form a perfect grid. Each layer sits in the grooves or dimples between the atoms of the adjacent layer. However, there are two slightly different ways in which this can occur. If the atoms in a third layer sit directly above the atoms in the first layer, this is an ABA arrangement, also known as hexagonal closest packed structure. Otherwise, the atoms in the third layer may not be aligned with the atoms of the first layer, resulting in an ABC arrangement, also known as cubic closest packed structure. These will result in two different unit cells, the hexagonal unit cell and the face-centered unit cell, respectively. Different metals will adopt one structure or the other for subtle reasons regarding size and other parameters. Again, metals have the properties they do because of the properties of metallic bonds. Unlike covalent or ionic compounds, we actually think of the metal as consisting of positively charged metal cations, while their valence electrons are delocalized, which means they are essentially free to move around within the substance. We still regard the atoms as being of neutral charge, but this other way of illustrating the particles helps us understand some of the properties of metals, like their electrical conductivity, which we will talk more about later. We should also know a few things about mixtures of metals, which are called alloys. The way alloys are typically structured is that there is a primary metal which represents the majority of the alloy, and then there are one or more other metals present as impurities, and these can fit into the lattice structure in a number of ways. Here is a representation of a pure metal. As we can see, all the atoms are the same, as they are of the same element. A substitutional alloy is one in which certain atoms in the lattice are replaced by atoms of some other metallic element. So as we can see, atoms of one element are replaced by atoms of another element at certain positions in the lattice. This is a common structural arrangement when the metal atoms are of roughly the same size. An interstitial alloy is one in which the lattice comprised of the primary metal is intact, and atoms of the other metallic element can be found at certain interstitial locations, or in the empty gaps between the atoms of the primary metal. This is a common structural arrangement when the atoms belonging to the impurity are much smaller than the atoms of the primary metal, such that they can fit in the empty spaces. And then finally, there are substitutional interstitial alloys which combine both of these structural features, with some atoms replaced by atoms of another element and atoms of yet another element found in the interstitial locations. This is quite common for alloys containing 3 or more metals, as each of them may be of a totally different size. These different structural arrangements can result in different properties for the alloy. For example, interstitial alloys tend to be less malleable than their pure metal counterparts. Consider steel, which is iron with a carbon impurity. Even though carbon is a nonmetal, it can behave like a metal to form an alloy with iron. This impurity makes it more difficult for the metal to deform, and thus steel has a much lower malleability than pure iron. This is what makes it such an amazing material for construction. It has a remarkable resistance to compression. There are many kinds of steel that contain trace impurities other than carbon, and each variety has its own slightly different properties and applications. Chromium makes the steel harder. Cobalt makes it more heat resistant. Manganese increases shear strength. Nickel improves resistance to corrosion.
With that, we should have a slightly enhanced understanding of the structure of metals and the nature of metallic bonds, and the ways in which these generate the familiar properties of metals. Professor Dave for Chegg. See you next time.